evening and welcome back to the first 2014 broadcast of BDA News. If you've already forgotten, we are a group of high school students who try to convey the current events of the week in a different light. We are placing a much greater emphasis on accuracy, especially after the largely incorrect news about Kim Jong-un executing his uncle via not a firing squad, but rather a vicious and quite rabid dog squad got spread around recently. The 8:30 time arrangement is a temporary one, and we'll probably be back at the usual 9:30 broadcast by next week. Hopefully nobody goes online an hour from now. As usual, this is Andy Hong, and if you haven't noticed, which would be kind of sad, we have our second anchor back.
In case you don't remember, I'm Master Park. Did I miss anything important while I was gone?
Indeed, you missed a ton of
God.
current events going around the world. Speaking of which, would you like to introduce us to the headlines?
I'll be honored to. So on Thursday, a radical Sunni militant group affiliated with Al-Qaeda attacked two key Iraqi cities of Fallujah and Ramadi. They set fires to police stations, broke open jails, and occupied mosques. The attackers are on the verge of seizing control over the Anbar province and thereby unraveling American efforts during the Iraq War to stabilize that region. The resurgent insurgent activity is partly due to the jihadist successes in Syria amid the turmoil in the civil war there.
And now an American military ship has just been ready for deployment in Syria to destroy its chemical weapons, not by ammunition, but rather a floating lab. The Cape Ray, as the ship is called, with its crew of chemists, maritime experts, and military personnel, very good reaction there by the way, is ready to set sail, but Syria is apparently not ready to receive the visitor, for bad weather and fear of ambush by radical Islamists has severely hampered Syrian authorities' efforts to remove the deadly chemicals from their home sites deep within Syria. Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad has only to mid-2014 to completely destroy his chemical arsenal, but these delays are cutting things very close indeed.
Back in the United States, the Obama administration, despite all of its troubles during 2013, is trying to make a comeback by passing new gun laws preventing the mentally ill from obtaining firearms. Now the only matter is getting the proposed laws to Congress, which has an equally bad reputation of being a bureaucratic blob incapable of getting anything done.
That was my joke. As if Congress hasn't given Obama enough trouble, the New York Times and the Guardian newspapers' editorial boards have now called on the U.S. government to cut Edward Snowden some slack. The Times board, which is usually supportive of Obama and all of his administration and stuff, disagreed with the administration for the first time over Snowden by, according to CNN, stating that Snowden may have committed a crime, but he has done his country a great service. Woo! It is time for the United States to offer Mr. Snowden a plea bargain or some sort of clemency.
Well, our friends over in that trap ship in Antarctica didn't have much time to worry about the issues going around in the rest of the world, as they were flown out on Thursday after 10 days stranded on the Russian icebreaker Akademik Shokholsky. After two other ships failed to break through the unusually thick ice, the helicopter that was on board, the Chinese rescue icebreaker, flew the 52 passengers to the Australian ship, the Aurora Australis. The crew members remained and tried to squirrel the ship out of the ice. Too bad the passengers were in Antarctica over New Year's Eve. They would have seen the sunset because the sun stays up for 24/7 during the Antarctica summer. The only really bad news is the Chinese breaker is now also stuck in Antarctica.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Well, although Antarctica may be in the record books for being the coldest place on Earth ever recorded, it is no match as of now to the conditions in northeastern North America right now. On New Year's Day, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, was colder than the surface temperature on Mars, 31 degrees below 0 Celsius in good old Canada, compared to minus 29 degrees on Mars. Way to go, Canada. The American Northeast and Midwest, however, isn't really enjoying the cold. A record-breaking winter storm dumped more than 2 feet of snow, and temperatures in Wisconsin, when factoring the wind chill, are expected to plummet to more than, mark this, 46 degrees Celsius below zero. That's freezing.
Yeah. Okay, that's really cold. And a lot of environmentalists out there might attribute this extreme weather to climate change, especially after last year's deadly weather patterns. One of the most prominent being Typhoon Haiyan that devastated the Philippines. Recently, improved satellite imaging has also confirmed that the environment has been changing, and not necessarily for the better. Therefore, Vietnam War veteran and Secretary of State John Kerry returned for the first time since 1969 to Vietnam to talk about climate change. Although he failed many times on the past to get his views on climate change in the law, he recently paved the way to a 2015 climate deal between the United States and China. Hopefully, continued environmental activism will help us coexist better with our environment and prevent an accident like the explosion following the oil tank train derailment in North Dakota.
Yes, that explosion was a big one. If you saw it, it was almost like a nuclear explosion. But anyway, Snapchat users beware. An anonymous group of hackers infiltrated the Snapchat database and posted about 4.6 million usernames and phone numbers on a website called snapchatdb.info on Tuesday. Yes, whoever has Snapchat here, be careful.
Mm-hmm.
The hackers allegedly announced that their motive was to do good. According to Mashable, the hackers confirmed on Wednesday that their motive was to, quote-unquote, raise the public awareness around the issue of privacy in the internet. Snapchat has announced that it is working with law enforcement and technology experts, mark this if you have Snapchat, recommend that you delete your Snapchat account and possibly also change your phone number if you are one of the victims.
Oh gosh. So, back to this year is a big one for athletics. We have the Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia in about a month, the World Cup in Brazil in June, and the Asian Games in Incheon, South Korea.
Korea.
However, security is turning out to be a huge factor in Russia as suicide bombing by radical Islamists increased dramatically over the past week or so. In Volgograd, 2 bombs went off just as many days. As a result, many are worried. And just in time, Russian President Putin rides to the rescue on a pair of skis. Putin and Prime Minister Medvedev visited one of the ski slopes intended for the Olympics and took a tour of the hotel in which the athletes will reside during the games. Always the action man, Putin has done a lot of publicity stunts during 2013. It doesn't seem like he'll stop this year.
On January 3rd, 2004, a robot the size of a golf cart set its wheels on the red soil of Mars. The rover, named Spirit, had a life expectancy of only 90 days, but it took NASA by surprise after it outlasted all expectations by celebrating its 10th birthday yesterday.
Oh my god!
It, along with its younger twin, Opportunity, which will have its 10th birthday in about 3 weeks, has made priceless discoveries on our red neighbor. The rovers, now also accompanied with the SUV-sized Curiosity, are now searching with considerable success for signs of water and potentially life on the now lifeless planet.
And that was BDA Top 10 News for this week. I'm Esther Park.
And this is Andy Hong. The Center for Disease Control recently released a report that 25 states in America is reporting widespread flu, so make sure you wash your hands, and if you're not in Southern California, you should bundle up. And good luck going back to school on Monday. And oh yes, there is no topics of the day tonight, so we'll see you all next week. And that's BDA Top 10 News over and out.